And we're recording. Hello, everyone. This is the September 23rd edition of the group workshop. And again, in preparation for Career Fair Week, we are focusing on resumes. So far, we have 2 recordings that are in the LinkedIn group. So please feel free to check them out or just send me a message if you want them any further. So for the people who just joined us, we have the LinkedIn group that you're seeing on the screen right now. If you are not part of it, please let me know. The important part about the LinkedIn group right now is the content index. I didn't realize how powerful this was until we were getting feedback from students saying, you know, what a collection of information that we have. So if you actually went to it right now, you will see that it is given the topics via hashtag topics. So anywhere from business relations to cover letter to resume, et cetera, that's what you will see on the page. So anything else about the LinkedIn group, please feel free to unmute yourself or put something in chat. Any questions about the LinkedIn group from the folks that we have so far? No questions? I will proceed. So I want people who've been on the previous sessions to tell the rest of the group what we have on the screen right now and how this relates to job search. Any volunteers, please? What is the name of the game? What is the name of the, what should we be operating as when we are going through job search? Feedback about the red tulip.
It's basically how we stand out.
It makes you stand out. Very good. So it's not about, because we go to a STEM school, because we're technical folks, one of the things that I notice with students that they are very much about the comprehensiveness of the information, about the data being accurate in your resume. What I wanted to point out is the job search game is about standing out. It's about marketing you. It's not about the completeness of the information, because when you're designing your resume, it's always about the person who's reading it. So always keep that in mind. And one of the ways for you to stand out is to make sure that you are speaking in the quote unquote language of the HR managers, of the hiring managers, etc. So I'd like to cover what I like to call the resume design principles. And I'm going to ask, again, the people who've attended this before to give me your perspective on the bullets that we're talking about. The first bullet, we say that job search is an art. Take it with a grain of salt. Anybody have any feedback to share with the group as to what we mean by the first check mark? I'm looking to Florian, I'm looking to Neha, I'm looking to Jay to share with the group what they get out of that.
Okay. So actually what that means is that what seems appropriate and what looks good for someone doesn't necessarily applies to you, and you have to gauge advices based on what you are looking for.
Very good. Thank you, Florian. Other shares? So what we like to say when we take advice, including my advice, and yes, thanks, Modest, that there is no one size that fits all. We're giving you suggestions. Try it on for fit, kind of like a piece of clothing. See if it applies to you. At the end of the day, it's the second bullet that you see out there. It's your resume. It's your LinkedIn. It's your job search. So make sure that you are taking charge of what you're doing and presenting yourself out there. Considerations number 2. Anybody have any input on the first check mark? No input? What I noticed, the reason I bring this up is students are very good in taking the resume templates, and you guys are very good at completing the information in the template. Going back to what we discussed earlier, if the resume should be designed from the standpoint of the person who's reading it, the hiring manager, people kind of forget that you can like move stuff around based on what it is that you're trying to highlight about yourself. So let me give you an example. Usually students are told to put education on top because you're a student. However, if you are a student with work experience, to the hiring manager, which one do you think is more important? The education or the work/internship experience?
Experience.
It's the experience that's more important. So to the point that we were making earlier, education, experience, feel free to kind of like switch that around, because to the hiring manager, your work experience is much, much more important now than education. I know you guys are kind of like told as students, you want to put education on top. What I want to bring to the forefront with check number 1 is that templates are guides. At the end of the day, it's about speaking, quote unquote, the language of the person who's reading the resume. Anything to add to the first check mark? Feel free to unmute yourself if you had anything. Let's go to check mark number 2. Hiring managers. Do they have a lot of time or do they have little time?
Little time.
Very little time. So from the perspective of having a complete resume, would you rather have the hiring manager go through the entire resume looking for what they need, or should we give the information that they need sooner versus later?
The information that they need.
Sooner. Very good. So just checking to see if you guys like remember that. Thank you. Thank you for the participation. This is your participation. The more you ask questions and you relate to me, the better the session is going to be for everybody. So to the point that I made earlier, a resume should be designed always from the person reading it. So imagine yourself as the hiring manager. One of the things that you want to consider that we're kind of like doing sooner versus later is having the wow factor, that is talking about your accomplishments and results versus simply describing what you're all about. So with that, I am going into the LinkedIn group right now to share just that. Since we have Florian on the line, Florian was just like you guys, started working on his resume, and let me share this really quick. If you go to the LinkedIn group, and this is part of the importance of why you want to be in the LinkedIn group, we're constantly sharing content out here. And I just shared Florian's resume in the group yesterday to the point that we were making. And I just had a student this morning at 9 o'clock, after taking a look at Florian's resume, they were like, yes, I want to do the same thing. So to the point that we were talking about, that you want to talk to the hiring manager sooner versus later. If you guys notice, I like what Florian actually did. He didn't even call it summary. He just put the paragraph up there, which would kind of like take care of like the white space that you need, or the space that would be required. But even the word summary, he kind of like had the information out there as to what he would need to let the hiring manager know sooner versus later. So that is going to be available to you in the group. Any questions from the group right now about sooner versus later? Otherwise, we're getting ready to go to either Jay or Neha. Please be on standby with your resume. So let me take some questions from the group if there's anything. Otherwise, we are going to the first resume. Questions from anybody? No questions? I think I allowed security to go. Since Jay hasn't been on the call yet for the group workshop, Neha, is it okay if I let Jay go first?
Yeah, I'll go.
No, I was asking for permission if it was okay for Jay to go first because you already had the experience of the group workshop.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll let Jay go first. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Neha. Jay?
Yes, I'll just share my screen.
All right. Let me know if the permission is still good. I set it up before the call. Yes, should be okay.
It's saying that I cannot share the screen.
Uh-oh. This is what I mean about technical difficulties because I made sure it was clear. Security, allow participants to share screen. And it's not allowing you, I'll toggle it. I took the permission out and then I will put it on again. Try it this time, Jay. While Jay is trying it, Neha, let's see if it allows you to share.
No, I can't share yet. Like, it's still not
Still
working.
can't share?
No.
That's not good. Why don't we do this? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so you guys see where I have security, right? I'm untoggling share screen and then allow participants to share screen. Neha, see if you could share, please.
Yeah.
You can share?
Yes.
Wow, Jay, so let's ask Jay to try it one more time.
Yeah.
If he can't, then we'll talk about your resume, Neha. Jay, can you please try it again?
Yeah, I'll try again.
Awesome.
Is it visible?
Hey, great. If on the slider, you could make it bigger for us, please, that would be awesome. All right. Jay and I already had another group session with Utkarsh the other day, so I'm going to let Jay lead the discussion because I want Jay to get out of this call what he needs to get out of this call. So feel free to start, Jay. What did you want to work on here?
Actually, I wanted to, am I audible, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I wanted to work on the summary and basically that's all I was looking forward to because I've included my professional experience, projects, skills, but summary is on the top and that is like the first impression that I'll be giving out and it should include everything that I've done till now.
Okay.
So I
Very
basically
good.
wanted to work on the summary.
Very good. Thank you for sharing that, Jay. So Jay would like to work on summary today. I'm going to call on Neha and Florian with your experience earlier. How was it that we worked on your summary? Neha, I forget. Did you have a summary too?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to call on Neha and Florian to go through the process that we went through with you guys so that we could help Jay right now create his summary. So what was the first instruction I gave to you guys, Neha and Florian, in how to create a summary?
Put the wow points from the whole resume and
Very
write down
good.
the summary.
Very good. Say that again, Neha. Sorry.
Put the wow points from the resume.
Okay. So Neha is saying, take all the biggest bang, so to speak, the strongest points in the current resume. So Jay obviously went through a thought process and he has some bullets under the professional experience. So what Neha is suggesting is that we pick the strongest points in the verbiage that Jay now has, and we're going to ask Jay to start copying and pasting that in the summary section so we can do a live workshopping of this information for Jay right now. So Jay, if you could please proceed. Pick the 3 strongest bullets from below, just copy them, and then start dumping it under summary. Florian, did you have any suggestions based on what you're seeing so far? Or anything to add to what Neha just shared?
Yes, just to complete what she said, you should really like try to find out which points you are more proud of and which points you think will highlight your best accomplishments.
Very good,
Yeah.
Florian. Very good. So you guys notice that Neha and Florian are more experienced in some of this stuff. If I were you guys, I would connect with them on LinkedIn. Hint, hint. And like I also said, Florian's resume is shared in the LinkedIn group right now. So feel free to see his old resume and what Florian did to get to the new resume. And by the way, Florian is working on a specific resume that he's tailoring to a company who called him for a job. So this is what we were talking about earlier, that the resume should be about the audience reading the resume. Florian is creating yet another version of his resume such that it fits the job description of the company that he's working with. How are we doing, Jay?
I've pasted the entire, like, I think the PowerPoints could be in the summary.
All right, very good. So are these the strongest points that would kind of like create a wow
Yes, I think
factor
so.
that Neha said? You think this is
Yes.
so? Let's just read this for a second. So his strongest point said strategically created workarounds for 5 international Google patents on AI, ML, voice activation, speech recorder to register them under the government of India. I'm asking the team right now, what's good, what's not so good, from your opinion, based on the first sentence that Jay just picked out. So Jay, what I'd like you to do is where the word worked as the youngest intern, kind of bring that to a lower line, because as you're getting comments from people on this call, I want you to start typing. You can worry about formatting later. That's very good.
Yeah.
So nice. So you're going to start creating something directly after Government of India is where your new line's going to be. So create a new line, please. Hit enter. Okay, there's something going on with your formatting, but you can fix that
Yeah,
later. So
I'll fix that later.
yeah.
Yeah.
Strategically created 5 workarounds. What's good about Jay's statement right now? Anybody, please feel free to jump in. This is a group discussion. The beauty of a group discussion that's obviously being monitored by something like me, and I'm like guiding the direction of the conversation, is that Jay now has the opportunity to get feedback from all, how many participants do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 participants on the call. Well, excluding Jay, that would be 8. So what is good about the first line? Strategically created workarounds for 5 international Google patents.
I think he mentioned the numbers that he worked with 5 international. So that line is more good, like for a recruiter.
Very good. So we're talking about 5 projects versus not putting it there. I like the word international, saying the scope was much bigger, right? What else is impressive about the first statement? No clue for the team?
One more
It's-
thing I noticed that he mentioned all the 5 patterns. So that is more like.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
And the other thing on top of that is he said that he was working with the government of India. That's more high profile, right? So anything anybody wants to do to like the first statement, because it looks pretty impressive to me, right? So let's just try to clean it up a little bit. Strategically created workarounds. Could anybody else think of a specific word for workarounds? And I'm going to look to Jay to tell us more about this first sentence, about that job, where he got this from, so that people can start listening from the perspective of results and accomplishments. Jay, tell us more about this first sentence.
Okay, so technology already existing in India, but Google wanted to get into the Asia market with their patents. So everyone who uses their technology gets money out of it. So if the technology was already existing in India and was registered already as a patent, I had to sit through the entire documentation the entire technology, make a workaround or change specifically few things about the patent so that I can register it as a new technology, and so the Google can earn in Asia Pacific.
Okay, so based on Jay's description, could we think of a better word around workarounds? Nothing's coming to me right now, but if anybody has a suggestion, that would be great. Feel free to jump in. Anybody else? You know, Madas, Jeanette, Steve,
Can I go
Um,
for that? Oh, okay.
go ahead.
I mean, here I could use the word workflow instead of workaround.
Workflow.
Yeah.
Workflow. I had the benefit of speaking to Jay already earlier. It's not about a workflow, right, Jay?
Yeah.
It's more of about, tell him more, because you and I had this discussion, Jay. So say what you told me
Just-
so that
it's
Modest
just
can help us
finding-
with this.
It's just a way to find or to change something very minute or very drastic about the patent so that I can get it registered. So it's just actually, a way. I just needed to find a way through the entire documentation or entire technology or the code. I just needed to find a different way, a different approach to get it so that it could be, registered as an innovative thing.
Yeah.
Hi, Bunny. So can we say like created 5 new strategies or something like that?
Strategy, the strategy fit, Jay?
It will be like it's a good word, but it will be like
It's a
using
good
two
word, but he
strategies.
already said strategically. I see your point, Jay. But I like where Steve is going. Is that right? Is this Steve Gerald?
Yes, Bunny. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for joining us. So I like where Steve was going. Created strategy sounds better than workarounds, but Jay's issue right now is he has the word strategically. So if he uses that twice, that's not very good. But he just gave you an idea of how to massage that, right? Jay?
Yeah.
So that was a good suggestion. Actually, I'm going to think with you on that, but in the interest of time, and this is the issue with this, I'm kind of like trying to teach this class, teach you the process, and at the same time, think of what the final verbiage will be. So if there's anybody else on the call with better words or better direction, that would be appreciated. Modest, based on Jay's explanation of what we talked about. By the way, Modest is an alum, he's an alum of Illinois Tech, and he's actually working in industry right now. So this is in Modest's wheelhouse, actually. So if you guys haven't connected with Modest, make sure you connect with Modest as well on LinkedIn. So what was his explanation about? Did you have any more ideas, Modest?
I get it that it's not about workflow. It's about some kind of strategic or alternative that he was able to put in place to help with the patent. So maybe I'll look up for a synonym of strategy, that can fit here.
Yeah, good suggestion. Jay, did you get all that?
I can find out the synonyms, and there is this one more guide that you have uploaded on LinkedIn that says about the words or the keywords we can use. So I guess I'll
Yes.
find something in that.
Yes. So let me backtrack and go to the process of what we're doing right now. So the process is, if you guys notice, I asked Jay to talk some more about this line that he pulled this out of. And then I had the whole group listen from the accomplishments and results. So had you guys been doing this on your own, and for the people listening to this recording, if you do not have the benefit of the group like we have right now, one of the things that you could do is just like we did out here, but instead of me having Jay talk about the process, if you're doing this alone, you could start doing what Jay did by words, by writing it down. And then as you're writing it down, it's going to bring some more ideas as to what those accomplishments and results are. So that is going to fuel what you are putting down in the sentence that you're writing. So far, so good. I think that the first sentence is good so far, right? Let's go to Jay, I noticed the second line that you have out here, please grab it and then like put it up to the first line that we're kind of like doing as a
Oh.
finished product. Worked as the
But-
youngest intern.
But Bernie, quick question about the first sentence.
Yes, sir.
The point is, it's a nice sentence, but does it highlight the result or not? Because I think the sentence still needs to be refined. Is that correct or not?
Good suggestion. Do you have anything that you were thinking of as you're reading it?
When I read the first line, it's interesting because there are some big names like Google, patent, government. These are key, these
Yes.
are good.
Yes.
And there's something quantified here, but I don't get the result exact. It sounds more on task than result.
Okay, because we're commenting on Jay's resume. Jay, you have any questions for Modest to the point that he's making?
No, actually, it does make sense. And but I cannot include the things like results and something like that because it was a patent and it takes around a year or maybe 13 months around to at least get a reply from the government because it's a slow and a tragic process. And I worked for around 6 to 7 months because I was just working after my undergrad and then I had to come for my master's. So even
Yeah.
if I wanted to, I couldn't get the results. All I was doing was submitting the patents and delivering them on time and then registering them. But the actual output would be like it's not still out. Like if it
Yeah.
got patented or not, I'll know it like in 2023 or 2024.
Yes. So let
Yeah.
me translate what Modest was. Go ahead, Modest.
What I was about to say is like, I know it's easy for me to comment on, him trying to help. So the question is, whatever you did, how did that help the company or the people you work for? How did that help them?
Very, very good. Did you get that, Jay?
Okay. Yeah. I got it.
So you were talking about the results of the actual patent. Modest was coming from the standpoint of there were some other results that you created that was relative to the company. I love how you created that, Modest. So again, it goes back to the language of the hiring manager. They're looking for your ability to help their company. And in this case, Jay has the ability to show how he helped these, with the 5 Google patents for the government of India. So did you have any other questions, Jay, for Modest?
No, that's it. Like it does. He does have a good point.
Cool. So just for everybody on the team, usually when we have a workshop like this, it's constantly refining the version that you have. So we're starting to clean it up, but Modest gave a suggestion that Jay is now processing to make what he currently has even better. So are you guys loving the concept of a group workshop?
Yes.
Awesome. So it sounds like Jay's going to be thinking somewhere on the first line together from Modest's suggestions. Let's start to incorporate the second line where he says that he worked as the youngest intern for the government of India. There's some redundancy out here because obviously he was just cutting and pasting. So my thoughts are we should start working some of this into the first sentence.
No,
Be part
actually,
of the
that's the
smart-
point because these two are different companies.
They're 2 different companies?
Yes, 2 different
Okay.
sectors, but same technology.
2 different sectors. So you're saying that being the youngest intern was a different company. So the
No,
other
that
one
was
was
my
the first
second year.
company.
Yes, and that was my 4th year.
I think I get what he was trying to do because he has to pick like 3 the top 3. So he
Yep.
pick one
Exactly.
in each section and put it there. So I guess
Correct.
in this summary, what he's trying to do, he's trying to use like for the first sentence to highlight one key skill, something he has accomplished. And then the second sentence to highlight something else also he has accomplished. So,
Yes.
so there's no
And our
connection.
co-
So it's like it's not like the second sentence explain what he did earlier. It's another thing. Something else that he's trying to put
Correct.
forward.
Very good, Modest. Very good in the way that you kind of like saw that the issue that we have on hand. However, from the standpoint of creating the verbiage, it kind of like has to flow in each other, because if we kept it in its current format, saying that the government of India is kind of being redundant again, right? But to Jay's point earlier, Smart City Mission is yet another project. So suggestions from the team as to what we could do from the verbiage problem that we have.
So I had a kind of question, because what Jay has, we all have the same problem, even myself. Sometimes when you put a summary here, we are trying to highlight different things, not necessarily one specific thing, you know.
Right.
So in that case, I understand that a resume is intended to talk to someone specific. So shall we, whatever we put here in the summary, should that point to the same thing, only one thing, or multiple things?
Good question. That you were saying that should it go for one thing or another thing? So if you guys notice the strategy and the initial direction, also from Neha from the previous session, we kind of said go through the entire resume and what would be the wow factor. So to your point, Modest, if it was just one project and all the wow was in that one project, the summary is just going to contain that one wow.
Okay.
However, was that a question?
No, it's not a question. I say yes to what you said. Thank you.
Yes, yes. So to the point, Modest, so Jay kind of like picked different stuff from his resume. So that's why we're trying to, for lack of a better word, massage this right now so that it reads better. Is what we're trying to do right now. At the end of the day, we may have to take this out because it was redundant from the word government of India. We may ask Jay to like pick another bullet. I mean, that's kind of like the worst case scenario, but you see what's going on with the process right now. So I'm going to open up the floor to questions about the process and what we're trying to do. Pretty good? Because I know it's Hyun Suk's first time, it's Jeanette's first time. Modest and I had a conversation separately. Neelam had a conversation with me as well. Otherwise, I'm going to ask Steve to go to the next sentence while we fix that problem. What sentence can you put up there for like a final version? Actually, here's what I'd like you to do, Jay. Could you grab that sentence and just delete it for now? And put in the next sentence.
These are like 2 points. This is what I do, and this is one of the.
That's going to be
things I-
towards the end, but you still had working in the command control center. Right, Jay?
Yeah.
So let's pull up working in the, copy that, keep it there so that just in case we need to take it out. So working in the command control center. So again, so that we can better word this and see how we could accurately put it, I'm going to ask Jay to talk to us as a team and describe what sentence number 2 is about. And we're going to be listening from accomplishments and results. So please go, Jay, from working in the command center. Tell us about that bullet.
Okay, so there was a command control center for every city, and the project was nationwide, but it was at the time working in 2 major cities. I was working in Delhi, and in the command control center, there were different teams handling different projects to optimize and the cities. And I was working on the, 2 things majorly: automated license plate readers and highway monitoring system tracks. So it was still new in India and the city as well. So we were developing a technology so that, there are many plates on the cars that are not very clear. So half of the time it gets unread. So, developing a precise algorithm to just capture every plate that we can get and then rectify it. So that was the first thing. And second thing was highway monitoring system tracks. So there are so many highways that don't have any exit or exits and entrance for like miles and miles So what we had to do was we can't monitor it by making a person stand over there. All we had to do was maybe we can use a drone, or we were using cameras at that time. So it's just for increasing efficiency in the traffic control management. So these are the two projects I've worked on in the command control center.
So what was your function in that, Jay? Because you said working in the command center.
Yeah, exactly.
So what were you doing
It's-
exactly?
As it was a nationwide project, it was like we were a team of 10, 12, 15, depends, and we were developing and rectifying every each and everything. So even if we had to make a program to just make a license plate clearer or more clear, we had to work like for at least 10 to 15 days. So it was like a very large scale project, and we were working in groups, and we were developing things one by one.
Any questions from the team to clarify what Jay was saying to pull out accomplishments and results? Because I have my notes. I was pulling out some keywords, but I want the team to ask Jay questions about what he just shared right now so that we can create a better sentence. Florian, I realize you're leaving in 5 minutes. Anything along those lines? Florian?
Yes.
Was there anything? I'm going to start this, and you could be thinking, Florian, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to jump in. So what I heard Jay talk about was this was nationwide. If you noticed, he kind of like says it at the end of the sentence. He goes part of the country. But what I pulled out when Jay was explaining this was a countrywide India project. That didn't come to me immediately from the way he worded the sentence. The next thing that he was saying was it was new technology, maybe that needs to get worked in there. He was working at a team of 10 to 12 people, which I'm not seeing anywhere there. He actually, instead of working, he actually said they actually developed and they actually rectified. Working is not descriptive enough to say what Jay was doing out here. And then he said that they were doing this for 10 to 15 days. He was quantifying this from the time perspective. And then he was saying something to the effect of pulling it out individually. So do you guys see what happened from the exercise of Jay telling me what the job was all about? Bernie was like picking out these things, saying that, hey, the way you worded this, Jay wasn't pulling out these other things that I heard. Was there anything that you caught too, Florian, in your last 3 minutes before you drop? If you don't have any, you don't have any.
No, not right now.
Not right now? Okay, cool. We appreciate you joining, Florian. I'm going to jump to Modest. Was there anything you heard from what Jay shared about this sentence we're working on?
I have nothing additional other than what you picked,
Okay, so he said working in the command control center. So Jay, start typing from the standpoint of, can you say that it was India wide to begin with? And you really weren't, no, I want you to like work on that entire sentence right now. So go to where the word working starts, create, do an enter tab so it goes down, and then start typing here what this new sentence should look like. So working in command and control center, I would like to start with the words develop and rectify. And then since this was your experience, pull out what you need from your original sentence to have this make sense. You also said new technology.
Yeah, it was just, how we do it, like there exists technology and we are just making it better.
Right. But what I'm trying to do here is grab the information that you have in that sentence related to developed and rectified that you also said so that we can make this sentence stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So pick what else out from that sentence just below working in the command center. What from that original sentence applies to developed and rectified?
I mean, we can do this like automated license. These two teams I was working on.
Okay, cool. So grab it and put it under the quote unquote finished product. Did you guys notice how I'm doing this as well? the bottom part is kind of like the scratch paper, but I'm trying to come up with the official final version so that we can see how it flows as we're building it. Are there any questions about the process?
Bernie, I have a question here. The way the new sentence is worded, putting like develop and rectified. To me, it sounds like here the role that he played was developing the system itself, because my understanding was he was part of the team. He helped or support the team doing something related to the automated license plate reader.
Suggestions?
The way I was thinking is like try to quantify or what benefit he provided to the team working on this. That's what I was trying to figure out, from his wording.
Jay, did you get anything out of Modest?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not, satisfied with this word as well, developed, because I was a part of a very large group. So,
You said a team of 12 to 10 to
Yes.
12 members, correct? So
Yes.
you could start part of team of 10 to 11 members that developed and rectified. Would that be better, Modest?
Yeah, I think so.
Very, very nice catch.
what's your like part of
Part
Team.
of 12-member team that developed and rectified.
and we also need to include like the nationwide thing.
Yes.
Or-
So let's see, where should we include that? Great suggestion, Modest. Part of 12-member team that developed and rectified. India-wide project. You could say rectified in the India-wide automated license plate readers and highway monitoring system tracks. Would that work? Does it work for you? Go ahead, Jeanette.
Yeah, so maybe if I'm wrong or right, I just wanted to ask here we can add something like if he was a part of 12 members, he might have worked on a use case. Let's say he make the detection faster or something like that. So like, can we add like this here, part of the 12-member team where I developed this function in this project, something like that?
Okay.
It's gonna go on the cover page. I mean, I think that's gonna be like going in too deep, and it's gonna take up very much space.
Okay. Okay. That was, again, I love the way group workshops come out because we're getting like different perspectives. Like Jeanette just gave us that perspective and Jay has the opportunity to say yes or no as to how it fits into the flow of how he's trying to present himself. So thanks so much for sharing that, Jeanette. So you got something out of that, right, Jay?
Yeah, I mean that works definitely, but I'll have to explain then
Correct.
each and every detail.
Yes, we got that. So I guess I want you to be thinking of that in the back of your head though, because I heard you kind of like say cover letter. That can even be put on LinkedIn actually, right? Because
Yeah.
LinkedIn is not limited to what you write down. So consider what Jeanette just shared. So from the perspective, let's continue from where we were at. Part of 12-member team. I'm not necessarily liking the way we have part of 12-member team right now. And it's not membered, it's just member, and it's 12-member team.
Okay.
So start cleaning that up right now. 12- and then member. It's like a 5-member Olympic team, like that. That's what you're saying. And then get rid of the
So-
spaces in between dash and M and dash and the number 2.
Bernie,
Very
quick
good.
quick question here.
Go ahead.
I know that we have the number, but to me, in this summary, putting the number of people in the team, is that relevant here in the summary section?
Yes. Yes. And why do you think it's relevant, I'm asking the question back from everybody. Modest is kind of saying part of the 12-member team, and it's not necessarily a leader position. So I can kind of see why Modest is bringing that up, but I still say that we should keep it in. Why do you think that is?
I mean, it shows like the people skills and being part of a team. That is also essential in a working environment.
Exactly. And it gives context to the hiring manager. Was he working with 4 people? No. Was he working with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? It's giving context to the person reading this as to Jay's skills. He didn't do it directly, but the hiring manager is going to be making some assumptions based on the picture that's being painted by words like member of a 12-member team. Does that help, Modest?
Yes, it does. I mean, try to show the size of the team. Yeah, it does.
Correct.
Because I was thinking about the word like, embrace teamwork, but it doesn't give the number of the people in that team. So I get it.
Exactly. So you see how context, you added more context by saying that Jay worked in a 12-member team versus it was a 2-member team. There's a difference in perception, correct?
Yes.
Very good questions. I'm loving all your questions because we're hitting this from all sorts of different angles. And since we're working on Jay's resume, Jay, are you getting something out of this?
Yes, definitely.
Cool. Do you have any questions for some of the comments that you still have? Because obviously, when we're done with your turn, you're still going to have to process this in the background. So did you want to clarify anything from
So
Modest?
I'm
or
actually
Janet?
just taking the points and jotting them down so I can
Yes.
use it to make it better.
Yes. Very good. So system tracks, would you have a period of tracks right now for this version of our summary? That would be the end of that, right?
I mean,
So
if there-
change
there
that
was
to a
more-
period, please.
This is more.
Oh, we didn't pull that out yet, right?
No.
So where would you put that? Is that after system tracks, comma?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Please put it back up there. Awesome. So you can get rid of that total second line, right? Right? Because we work on that already. So are you guys seeing how we're kind of like cleaning it up? We're kind of getting a final version of what Jay's summary is going to look like. Right? You guys understanding the process? Modest, is this helping?
Yes, it does.
Cool. Hyun-suk, are you understanding the process?
Oh yeah.
Cool. Neelam, and from our conversations from the office, did you have any questions about the process and what's going on so far, Neelam? Neelam? All right, Neelam's not here. Or Steve? Otherwise, we're going to proceed.
Yeah, it's clear.
Awesome. Thank you,
Yes, it's
Steve.
clear
So
for me
Jay,
too.
all right, thank you, Neelam. Jay, can you go to our scratch pad and grab the next sentence? We covered everything and we're down to that last piece, right? So questions, I'm going to open up the floor right now because people could take a look at what Jay just shared. And he's talking about men's physique athlete, initiated study of virtual reality to develop. Oh, these are two different things, right?
Yes.
Jay? So because everything was technical, I'll probably put initiated study first before the men's physique. Would you agree or
It just I
disagree?
took out the points that as you asked. It was one of those.
Yeah. But would you agree that initiated should probably go first?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. So let's see that initiated study of virtual reality to develop a virtual. So what was this? It was a personal project? Was this part of something told to you to do at school? Give us context,
I mean,
please.
no, it was a project that I took under intern I was doing for the IBM, and it's over there. This one.
Okay. So
group of
let's
me.
give them context in the summary right now. So this was being part of as a project intern. So how could we state that where he said initiated study? So talk to us more about initiated study. What does that
I
mean
mean,
exactly?
virtual reality wasn't in the course and it wasn't needed. I just wanted to go out on a limb and do something that was like, cutting edge at the time. And virtual
Mhm.
reality was still, a growing industry. So I wanted to do something in that. So that's where I initiated the study for virtual reality and developed a project in that.
I would say, instead of saying initiated study, I would say took initiative as IBM intern to study virtual reality.
Okay.
Just capture what I just said, please. Just for consideration. Took initiative as IBM intern to study virtual reality. Took initiative as IBM intern. To study would you, all right, that's not flowing. How would you clean that up? To study virtual reality and develop a virtual interior design. So I would say to study
And develop interior design.
and develop, yes, to study and develop. A took initiative. Is your initiative capital or is that just the cursor? It should be lowercase, right?
Yeah.
Okay, took initiative as IBM intern to study and develop and to develop
I can do
interior
this.
designing application
I can
for
do this with
Android.
virtual reality interior designing application for Android. I can just get rid of this.
Okay. Get rid of the word before virtual reality. You can drop all the us, the thus, not required. Took initiative as IBM intern to study and develop virtual reality for Android. I think that flows, right?
Yeah.
Suggestions from anybody else? Please feel free to chime in, but that looks good for now. Took initiative as IBM intern to study and develop for Android. Anything about what we have so far? Otherwise, I'm going into the last piece. Well, hang on a second. Why do you think I changed? What did I do? Teaching moment. What did I do to Jay's original sentence? Where just he just said initiated study, and I very specifically included a word there that kind of gives it a wow factor. What word is that?
Initiative.
No, because he said initiated earlier. So initiative doesn't necessarily take place of it. It's kind of the same thing. But I specifically picked a word that's new to this versus what Jay originally had. What did you guys observe? What did I include?
IBM.
Exactly. Do you see why I included IBM? I'm name dropping.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Jay, do you think this is stronger than initiated study of?
Definitely.
Okay, so very good. I want you to guys to understand the process again of what's going on in these discussions. We don't just word it a certain way. There are certain tactics. There are certain ways that we're marketing this to, because you guys don't necessarily see this. And I see it as a third-party observer. So that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. So take initiative as IBM intern. If there are no comments on that, I'm going to the last piece, which is men's physique athlete. So Jay, when we had this original conversation, did you win a medal or something? Or medals?
I did win a certificate, and it was, I wouldn't say it's like it was a large scale competition, but it was like a citywide And I just wanted to include it. I mean, it's not necessary that I have to include it, but I just wanted to include it because it's very important to me,
Yeah,
because this is
Yeah.
describes who I am
yeah.
and where I got.
I actually got that. So I see how you're trying to, and this is a natural tendency. We're taught to be humble. So if you notice, Jace like trying to minimize this, it wasn't a big thing, et cetera, et cetera. But I say for our purposes of marketing, I want to call it out a little bit. So was it a gold medal, silver medal, bronze? What was it?
It was bronze. So
Okay,
I mean,
bronze and silver medals?
it was just one bronze.
Okay, so I would probably start this, instead of starting with men's physique, I would say bronze medal, men's physique competition in wherever. Do you remember the name of the competition?
I'll have to look it up, but I will definitely include it.
Yeah, or you could just say men's physique competition, and physique wouldn't be uppercase, it would be lowercase. Same with the word competition. And which city was this in?
That was in Dehradun, the place I did my undergraduate from, Uttarakhand.
So did you want to put the city name there? Competition, men's, you could even put the place before the word physique.
Oh.
Or even
Men's.
after,
Yeah,
men's physique competition, comma, and then the name of the city. How do you say that?
Dehradun.
Dehradun?
Yeah.
And you take the word athlete all throughout. Bronze medal, comma, men's physique competition, Dehradun. So you could either put comma or colon after bronze medal, whatever your preference is.
Yeah.
So Jay was very wanting to include this in their resume. So what are the pros? And notice how I'm asking about pros of why we want to include information like Jay just shared. Teaching moment again.
I mean, I can tell about me why I wanted to include. That was because it personalizes my resume, and it really shows. It's not about what I won or what I didn't. It just shows
Correct.
the kind of person I am. I learned discipline, deadlines, everything from this place, and I owe a lot to it. So I had to
Very
include
good.
it.
Very good. Other comments on what Jay just shared?
It gives character to the resume as well. It's not
Very
just
good.
a template of like experience or something, but gives a personality to it as well.
Yes, it shows that Jay's well-rounded. He can be all this technical stuff, all these accomplishments, and he's, oh, by the way, he's also accomplishment in other areas of his life. Very good. Thanks, Steve. Other comments for that? So my question goes to Jay right now. What are you thinking as far as the current version that you have? And do you have any questions for this team? Because I'm sure you're going to go back and massage this some more, right, Jay?
Yes, definitely.
So
As of now,
what do you think?
I think it's good. It's gonna work out, and finally, after like massaging it a little more, I'll start applying to the companies I wanted to. That was the end goal actually. So
Yeah, that's awesome, right? Does this look more official than?
yes,
It certainly does, right?
yeah.
Cool. Did you have any questions for the team? Otherwise, I'm going to give Neha the floor for the next 30 minutes because this was scheduled for an hour and a half.
No, I don't have any questions as of now. Thank you.
Helpful?
Yes,
Awesome, Jay. I'm looking forward to your next iteration.
definitely.
Cool. So after you share, if you think of anything else later, Jay, as we're working on
Yeah.
Neha's, please feel free to stand, unmute yourself and ask a question. But let's go to Neha's resume now. Thank you so much for sharing your resume, Jay. Is Neha still with us?
Yeah, I'm sharing my resume.
Yay. Um, Yes, that was Modest that I saw. Good job. You guys all connect with each other on LinkedIn, okay? So let's see, Neha, please give us a summary of what we worked on the last time, and then give us some background as to what you wanted to work on for the next 30 minutes. Neha, if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
Yeah. So last, like in my last resume, I didn't mention my wow points as we discussed. So I have updated.
Awesome. I'm
resume.
loving how people like want the wow factor now. Very good, Neha.
So I have updated my resume with summary and with some my strong points that I mentioned.
Uh-huh.
This is
Uh-huh.
my updated resume with summary.
Okay, so do we want the team to just like read it and then just give you first impressions? Is that the exercise that you want?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'm going to keep quiet as we all read it and then give Neha first impressions of what we read. And Neha, be ready for to take notes, okay?
Yeah.
Most demanded trainer, love it. Wow. You definitely, wow, Neha. Opening up the floor, please feel free to unmute yourself with your first impressions. I'll leave mine for last. Did everybody leave? What happened, Neha? Everybody left us? Just you and me?
No, there are 7 participants, I think.
I was being facetious.
I'm still here. Yeah, she did a really
I
good
got
job.
Modest to talk, right? Modest is not talking.
Well, we can see already the touch. She already did some great touch, great job, you know. The way she wrote it and with the numbers. Yeah, I know there's still room for
Awesome, right?
improvement, but
It's obvious
she
that
did
you did
work.
work.
She did work, yes.
Yes, yes. What about the sentence presented research papers on intelligent transportation system in national, as well as published in international conference?
Maybe
So,
adding the name of the conferences as well.
Neha, did you catch that?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, my gut reaction was when I read presented research papers, to me, it's like, was there more to the story about just presenting the research papers? And then I kind of like noticed reading into the stuff, her punchline was really the national as well as international was her punchline. But my gut reaction, Neha, was the first part, presented research papers. Is there anything else about presenting the research papers that you haven't shared with us that could help us increase presented research papers stronger?
Okay, so I can write a number of papers, right? I have present 5 or papers. So should I write that?
So you're saying you presented 5 papers?
Yeah.
Presented 5 research papers. 5
Yeah.
research papers definitely puts context.
Mhm.
Didn't you do the research as well?
So,
Go ahead, Modest.
no, I wanted to ask if the objective of this sentence is to highlight her presentation skills
Yes.
or
Yes.
the research
Very
itself.
good. Neha, did you hear what Modest said?
Yes, yes.
So tell us more about what you actually did, and we'll be listening from what did Neha accomplish?
Okay. So actually, I did some research work on particular topic, and like I have made some case studies also, and on basis of that, I have presented in front of like present in national level conference, and same paper I have published in international conference.
Okay, so you presented it national and published international.
Yeah,
Okay, so what I got is you actually researched, so you didn't present to Modest's point. You actually, how would we say, we researched papers? No, you conducted research
okay.
for 5 papers on intelligent transportation system. Is that correct?
Yeah, I know
So-
intelligent transportation system. I have present this paper, and the other 4 I have published.
No, but
So-
the part that I'm trying to bring out is you forgot to mention that you also did the research.
Okay, got it.
So is this something that we can work on, kind of like what Jay just did? Or is this a PDF? What is this exactly?
It is what we can work on that.
Okay, cool. So can you do what Jay did? Kind of like create the new lines, take the stuff out?
Yeah,
All right, so we'll wait for you as you do that. But you see, for the team listening, the way Neha has it worded right now, and to Mada's point, is that she was just highlighting that she presented it. What was kind of missing for me, and that's why I asked her to talk more about this, was she kind of didn't highlight that she actually researched those 5 papers. Making sense? So my suggestion right now, based on what she said, is that she researched conducted research on 5 papers of 5 intelligent transportation system papers. Go ahead, sir.
Can we say like research and publish?
So he's covering both in the beginning, Neha. So start typing and let's see what works better for you. I like Modest's approach that he's saying you researched and published.
I think there should be ED because that's something she already did. Research.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it will be lowercase p as well.
I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but I would say,
Yeah.
for example, research and publish. I don't know, was it 5?
Yeah, 5.
5 research and 5 publish 5.
5 intelligent transportation system papers is how I would personally do it.
Mm.
And personal preference, I like to highlight the 5 even more by putting it in parentheses.
Okay.
Again, that's my personal preference. I'm just making suggestions. Papers. Intelligent transportation system papers. So you made a distinction, however, that you presented for national, but you published in international. So let's work that in, Modest.
To add more context, can we use the word including and then listen them like research and publish 5 intelligent transportation system papers, including, and then list the other topic? I don't know if that's the right way to put it.
Are you talking so she could call out the topics? Is that what you meant?
I mean, if that's relevant for whatever she want to highlight. If not, we can leave it away.
Neha, how does that go for fit? Modest suggestion. Neha?
yeah, but that are not my highlight and like points. That is not based on what I am doing right now.
Okay,
Okay, got you.
so research and publish 5 papers. Nationally. Oh, actually nationally and internationally, but I don't like how that is. Papers nationally. Maybe papers in India and internationally and international conference. You know what I mean? Because you say nationally and internationally, that's kind of not so good. So I'm thinking of replacing the word nationally with India, perhaps.
So Bernie, here's the question also I would ask if I was interviewing someone written this, because I think in this summary, whatever you put here, you have to be 100% confident talking about it if the interviewer asks you. So the question back to Neha is, how confident are you to discuss what the work that you did in this? Because the way it's worded, when I compare the phrase that we are putting here with what you put at the bottom, I think maybe because at the bottom you put presented research paper on intelligence as well as published the international. But the way we put it, research and publish, is as if she did the research. So now the question back to her, is this something she did the research or someone else did the research and then she helped presenting and publishing? Because at the end of the day, people will ask you the questions, you know, and have to be confident talking about it, you know, for the work that you did. So
Very good distinction. And the question is obviously going to be answered by Neha because this is her experience. So Neha,
yeah,
what's your reaction to Modest's
Yeah,
point?
I agree. Actually, yeah, I did research on that and I have knowledge on particular topics. So I
good,
can tell them like,
good.
So
That's
it's
great.
backed up.
That's great.
Cool.
Excellent. Yeah.
So let's just clean up the sentence now. Thank you for bringing that up, Modest. And this is again, the beauty of a group workshop. So national papers. So how do we do the national and international? So these were all conferences, right, Neha?
yeah.
So recent published
So we can write simply as a national as well as international conference.
Well, the thing is, when you say as well as published, that's kind of like too wordy for the summary, is my personal opinion. So I'm trying to see if there's a better way to word it. Feel free, anybody else that we have left, Jay, Steve, and Neelam, and Hyun Suk is still there. Hyun Suk, what are your thoughts? This making sense? Because any suggestions perhaps on how to say national and international conference? Because the way Neha has it right now is national as well as published and international is kind of wordy, but Modest already fixed the problem of published by putting it at the beginning of the sentence. So we're just kind of like wordsmithing right now to communicate what Neha wants to. Were the international conferences specific to certain other countries, Neha?
No, not specific.
So you just kind of like put it on the internet and it's available globally, right? That's what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe say available in India and globally. And the thing where you ended that sentence where you say based on leading edge technology, I'm thinking leading edge technology can be worked in sooner somewhere. Suggestions? In the last 10 minutes, I realize we're 10 minutes into quitting time for this call. I'm just gonna read it from the beginning, Neha, okay?
Yeah.
Since you are calling out the number 5 at the bottom and then you spelled out 7 on top in your first sentence, pick one and be consistent. What's your preference? Did you understand my comment, Neha?
Like
Okay, good. So you picked spelling it out. Project
Yeah.
manager. Intern, I would not capitalize intern. Intern would be lowercase.
mhm.
Of 7 multinational employee team. Project manager intern of 7 multinational employee team. Is that still the same idea?
Yes.
Intern of 7 multinational employee team. Take the S out of employees, please.
Okay.
Project manager intern of 7 multinational employee team. I'm gonna go with the suggestion of the number 7 is kind of, you know how we talked about Neha, where you want to save their reading time, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
number 7 and the word 7 communicate the same thing, but to that effect, I would suggest that you do that. Yes.
Um,
Go ahead, Modest.
I'm trying to understand, I'm struggling understanding that sentence. Project manager intern, that's clear. Of
Mhm.
this 7 is for what?
7 employee team.
7
Multinational is kind of confusing you, but she's trying to bring out that it's like a global team.
7. What is 7?
There were 7 groups.
Ah,
Okay.
so it's actually employee teams.
You mean 7 team? When you say
Yeah.
group, are you referring to the team?
Yes, she said
7
17.
team.
I remember this conversation now, and I think you said there were 7 people within
Yeah.
each of the 7 teams.
Yes. Yes.
So the whole project, Modest, is actually 49 people, which I think is even a more impressive number. So how do we bring 49 up? Because Neha was part of a 49-member initiative. The way you have dash in between global teams is kind of, I would put the parentheses if you would for 7. I think you were trying to differentiate it, right? By putting the dash. I
Mhm.
would just put parentheses, the 7 out there if you wanted to highlight the number
Okay. Like
in the
this.
beginning as well. Yes. Does that make sense? You were trying to separate it, right? So that it stood out more. That
Yeah.
would be a way I would suggest you do it this way versus the dash that you did. Project manager intern of 7 global team.
Mhm.
For get rid of the 4-week project for 4-week. The letter A before 4-week.
Okay.
You don't need those words. Project manager, and Modest, did we address your concern?
It's clear to me now.
But it still doesn't take advantage of the 49.
If I was reading this first sentence, yeah, she was a project manager intern. I mean, right now it's better than what it was, but I'm trying to get the fit.
No, this is good because Neha's not going to stop here either. She's still going to like recreate this. So good.
Yeah.
And I think you have an extra space there now.
Yeah, the reason
that's
I'm hanging on this because I had sometime the 7, my own resume, I can make it today. The next day I read it, I'm like, this is confusing.
yes.
And I have to go
Exactly.
back again. Sometimes even
Yes.
I make it worse before coming back to
Yes.
improve it. So it's like back and forth. So
Yeah, it's a journey. So
yeah.
Naya is much farther, however, than where we were
She's
at last
she's
week.
doing great, by the way, because
Yes.
she has
You
very
see,
good idea
here's the
here.
clue. When we start nitpicking the way it's worded, that means we're farther along in the process.
Mm.
Do you get that, Neha?
Yeah.
When the comments become syntax, space here, space there, that means we did the bulk of the job already. So
Mhm.
to Mada's point, it's not like we're like criticizing this. We just want it to be perfect because that's what a resume is. Plus, we're technical people, right?
Yeah. And sometimes what happened to me is like sometimes when I try to go through some of this detail, I step away from the main idea that I'm trying to convey.
Mhm.
You know?
Yes.
So it happened to me sometime,
Very good point.
Um,
So for the last 5 minutes, I want Neha to take advantage of the team that we have out here for Neha to ask questions of folks. Because otherwise, I'm going to have Neha cut and paste that summary and send it as a message to me. I will possibly forward it with the recording of this and send the summary that you have to the rest of the people who attended this. So you can get some more feedback on that, Neha. At the very least, you're going to get feedback from me one-on-one via LinkedIn. Okay.
Sure.
But I want to give you the remainder of the 4 minutes to ask questions of the people that we have assembled here who are still on. We have Hyunsuk, we have Modest and Neelam. Did you have any questions for them? Otherwise, I'll end the official recording for this. Did you have any questions for them, Neha?
Yeah, I just want to know, like, as we worked on the summary portion, so like, what about the experience and skill? How we work on that?
The same exact. Notice how I'm very into the process of
Mhm.
how to come out with the wording of the summary. That's a very good question, actually, Neha, because we usually want to catch their attention in the summary part, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we're spending all the attention there right now, because it's at the top of the resume. But to your point, to answer your question, the work that we're putting in and the process by which we're getting to the final version of the summary should be the same exact process that you apply to each of the bullets that you have down in the experience.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, but when we have, there's a time limitation, we want to cover as many people. So that's why I kind of like teach you the principles. But if you haven't noticed, I'm very specific about, does anybody have questions about the process?
Yes.
Because if you understand what the process is,
Mhm.
the same process that applied to summary is going to apply to everything else that you have in the resume. Very good question. Neha.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Questions from the rest of the team? Otherwise, I'm gonna end this session, end the recording, and then I want Neha to remain on the line to kind of like give her some extra pointers. So any last things before I end the recording? No last questions. Thank you, Hyunsuk, Modest, and Neelam for staying till the end of the session. For the rest of the people listening to this, you're obviously requesting the recording from me, and that's why you have this recording. But to the rest of the people who attended, I'm going to send you a copy of this very shortly. So thank you. And please stay tuned for the next resume workshop next week or whenever it is that I'm having. So bye-bye to everybody else. Neha, please stick around and let me end the recording.
Yeah.
If I can find it.